Hi, this is Charlena and Charlena Pearson at Weight Release the New Thought Way. I'm looking for something because I've misplaced it, but that's okay. All right, so today we are talking about affirmation, and I have the room darkened, but I'm going to open it a little bit so that you get the full picture of me. It's just that with the curtain open, it is warmer in here. I'll go this way so you can see me better. Alrighty, so we are talking about affirmation. And affirmation, you may be aware of it or you may not be. It's a trademarked word by Noah St. John, who trademarked it shortly after college. He was in college as a Latin and dance major. And when he was living in his parents' basement, I believe. It's when he came up with the word and what it means. And in the course, I'll go into more deeply of why he chose this word. But just to, in terms of the from the Latin, just to give you a heads up of why and what it was for, it was because he was a Latin major, he knew the basis of words, and Affor is to form a foundation. Alrighty, so um, what we're working on in terms of affirmations is to, we are talking about forming a foundation in terms of getting the weight off of our bodies. We want to give our inner consent to triumph in releasing the weight rather than talking and keeping it in place. Now, as I said yesterday, with self-talk, we're not really talking in reference. We won't be specifically um, talking about self-talk. I just realized, even though you're seeing me better, I'm getting warmer because my fan is no longer on there. Alrighty, so hopefully you can see me much better while I get cooler here. All right, there we go. Gotta have the hair blowing back like Beyonce. Yeah, of course, I don't have any hair to pull back. But anyway, I digress. Um, all right, so we will be combining a little bit of self-talk and with affirmations. And affirmations are questions. It's based on the biblical uh, verse from Matthew 7:7-8. Ask and it will be given to you. Knock and the door will be opened. Okay, so um, you might say, in terms of affirmation, but no, that's not right. I want this weight to be off of my body. But do you really? And so, what stopped you in the past? You might want to think about that. And then, but you might also then say, okay, but what is affirmations? And I would say, well, you're changing the subject. Um, and since I already told you what that was about in terms of Noah and his idea, we're going to go on to something that you might have either asked yourself or someone in your milieu may have asked you, like, are you going to eat that? Should you eat that? You do know eating that just makes you fat. You'll never lose weight eating that. Nobody likes you at this weight. Stop eating that food. Do you want to be bigger? Junk food's not good for you. You know that, right? Now, of course, all of that stuff that either you or someone else is saying to you, those are bullying tactics that keep you stuck exactly where you are. And until you really feel the pain, or the pain gets too great, I should say, in terms of how your inner being is feeling, you're just going to keep doing what you always have done in the past. You might hear those things from somebody else, or you hear them from within yourself, and then you'll just to assuage or to numb yourself from hearing that. You might eat something that you know is not good for you, is not good for getting any type of weight off of your body. But now, of course, since this would be the third week of our course, um, it is my hope that by this time you will have forgiven not only the people outside of yourself, but also forgiven yourself as well. But just in case, this is why we're going back over this with the affirmations, Afformations, Afformation, is that with bringing this up again, bringing this up, we are making you aware of the bullies and also helping you in getting unstuck, getting to the road of positivity, to the real you. So to help you get back out of blockage and into the flow, we will be using essential oils, specifically the essential oils for both power and also affirmations are peppermint. Oh, sorry, got to bring it up a little higher. There we go. Peppermint, and I use doTERRA's peppermint, so this is upside down. Sorry about that. There we go. doTERRA's peppermint, and that's for focus and encouraging. And you'll need to be encouraged during the course of this specific week because we're going to ask ourselves some specific questions. And lemon, which is for cleansing in inner and outer. And again, you're going to need that. And or you could use, since you'll still be working on breathing, breathe, which is the respiratory support. And I, of course, will go into that deeper during the course. All right, so I don't want to hold those the entire time. All right, so and then the power, the 12 through Charles Fillmore's 12 Powers of Man, the word is power, and power is the root of the tongue. And so we'll be delving deeper into the negative, fearful look at you and the real you versus the negative you of what you've been telling yourself. And let me tell you a little bit about what power is about in terms of the way Charles Fillmore, Charles Fillmore's definition of power, but I've made it a little less dense, as it were. So the sequential nature of power equals silence. And actually most of the 12 powers of man start with silence. It's sort of like starting with a prayer, meditation, or the fact right before the baby is born, there was silence until the baby's ready to be born. And then there's a lot of pain and eventually loud screaming, either from the mother and or from the baby. Okay, so that is the sequential nature and faculty of power as explained by Charles Fillmore. And this is within us, and it comes from our source, and it's in reference to our true nature, our real self, our authentic self, our spiritual self. So what happens with the expenditure of power is that it is the word. And the word in terms of this section, affirmations, has a lot to do with the words that you're asking yourself. So asking better questions begins our transformation, the movement, to positive vibrations, which are those questions. And our brains act as a computer whenever we ask a question. We ask more questions than we do statements. And then the brain will begin to search for the answers to those questions. So if we're asking the wrong questions, we're getting the wrong answers. It's like GIGN, which is garbage in, garbage out, right? GIGO is what it is. And so we want to transform with power those negative questions into positive outcomes. And it's further defined as our ability to transform one plane to another. And that's what we're doing with power. That's what we're doing with lemon and peppermint. And that's what we're doing with Afformations. So we will go from feelings of dejectedness or pitifulness or victimhood and say, no more, none of that need apply to myself. I am only in self-confidence, self-reliability, self-esteem to the highest. And I'm going to ask questions that form my true desires of what I want my outcome to look like. So now it's time to ask, what is driving you in relation to keeping this weight on? Is it unforgiveness? Now, hopefully, because we've already gone through that week of forgiveness, that it's no longer. But if there's some unforgiveness that is hanging on, then we'll work through it. We'll work through that and the self-talk that might still be lingering, the separation from the divine, the bullying on both the inside and outside of your head, and to release that familiarity of staying in that formation of telling yourself that you can't be thin. And so these are the whys. These are the reasons why, and you're asking the wrong questions until perhaps there is something greater for you. And it might be that you've had a diagnosis that puts you into desiring better and better for yourself. Perhaps the fear is of diabetes or prediabetes or heart disease, and that gets you into the idea that you have to reverse what has been going on with you. So here's what I'm going to leave you with, and I do apologize. I didn't realize I had already talked this long, but what is your main fear? Is it food? Is it your weight? Or is it your health? Think about that. And I was going to give you the exact dates today. Let me go to my calendar. The exact dates for the 5-day dares begin for you on August the 15th, and then we'll do August the 24th. And then the last one will be September 7th through the 11th, and the course itself will begin on September 19th. All right, so this is Charlena with Weight Release, the New Thought Way. Thank you for tuning in, and tell your friends to hit the like button below and also to subscribe. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Ciao.